Apparently, I once again can't agree with anyone. A lot of those movie critics are just full of They go for controversial opinions and try to score with what they probably consider cleverly worded conclusions. With a few exceptions fortunately, most deserve nothing less than to be flushed down the toilet and their opinions with them. See how clever that was of me? Flush down the toilet? Sewer pipes? No? This is Nintendo Maniac, and well, I'm not a movie critic thankfully, but I won't be joining the super hype gang of people giving this a 96% score, which may be partially a reaction to the poor critics' reviews the movie got. I myself have mixed feelings, because I do want to give a good and clear reaction to the movie, expressing my experience. I'm going to split this into two videos. This one will be spoiler free and will be mostly positive, as that's easier to explain without going into details that could harm your personal experience. And I really think the movie deserves more than enough praise to recommend you to go and see yourself without prejudice. I think that because it's a movie, it's only fair to judge it from both the viewpoint as a fan of the Mario games as well as someone who just sees this as an animated movie. And though I grew up with the NES and Super Mario Bros, it may be a bit challenging, but I'll try to put myself in the position of those who didn't. The movie is of course tailored to fans, but I do think strangers to the Mario franchise can generally enjoy the movie. It's filled with references and Easter eggs to not just Mario games across the decades, but also other Nintendo games. So many, you won't be able to catch them all, but fans will no doubt re-watch the movie. That the story is a simple one, with Bowser the villain with his plain motives, will hurt outsiders more than Mario fans. But fortunately, a lot of the humor is generic and not Mario specific. The animation is beautiful and fluent. I have seen a couple of reviews that complain about this, but critics often barely watch what they are reviewing. And if they did, perhaps they saw the 80s live action one. No, visually the movie is as pleasing as the trailer showed us. I paid specific attention to how Mario and Luigi, who have quite a specific look, would fit in the human world, but all that was just a great match. Not just the other humans, but also the world was something that felt natural to see the Mario Bros in. The only criticism I can imagine here is that perhaps the fantasy-rich environment passed the screen a bit too quickly, and trying to show too many different places in a single movie, giving most of them too little screen time, which makes for a nice bridge to the pace of the movie. I again do not agree with the words used by critics that commented on this, but perhaps that's in the words they used. I think in general the pace was good. Maybe a bit on the faster side, but not too fast that I had trouble keeping up. There were a few moments where I felt we jumped a bit, skipped just a bit and scenes didn't really tie in together properly. It could be that's what others meant with their criticism. But on the other hand, with so many different characters in the Marioverse, it could have been very tempting to push as many of them in possible as well. And they didn't. There were a few characters used as reference or Easter eggs, but generally they stuck with the characters that were necessary for the story. When it comes to the voice acting, I am pleasantly surprised. I think that Jack Black did an excellent job as Bowser. His voice acting perfectly matched the scenes and I never felt I was listening to Jack Black. And the same goes for Chris Pratt as Mario. I've seen enough movies with him that I enjoyed, but he still managed to give me the feeling that I was actually listening to Mario, and that's an admirable achievement. But I have to single out Anya Taylor-Joy. I think that her voice acting may have just been a little bit less than the other two that I just mentioned, but her voice is absolutely excellent to listen to. There's a crispiness to it that I did pick up on in the trailers. I can only hope she'll be taking on more voice acting jobs in the future. Preferably as Princess Peach, of course. There are some more negative points that I think are safe to share. The music, for example. There were about 4 or 5 80s and 90s songs used, and that felt very much forced. Even when I really enjoy those songs personally. It was enjoyable to hear the different Mario tunes mixed into the scenes, but at times they tried to mix it together too much, becoming messy and again, forced. Also, I already mentioned that the story was simplistic, but it's clearly also a Hollywood written one, and contains some illogical or convenient choices, just to keep everything going the way the writers wanted to go, rather than coming up with better solutions or having the plot go a different way. But with that said, it was a very entertaining movie, one that had me laughing and smiling, and not only because I'm a Mario fan. It has its fair share of shortcomings, and definitely isn't a masterpiece. But it's also not as mediocre as the critics want you to believe. I would recommend this to anyone who wants to relax, have a good time seeing something perfectly animated and fun. So if you haven't watched the movie yet, go and see it. But then, when you have, and you do want to understand why, as a Mario fan, I do ended up with mixed feelings, go and watch the second part of my The Super Mario Bros. Movie reaction. Thanks a lot for watching, please consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon.